The overstimulated life is a very dangerous life to lead. When I go out to numerous parties over a week, when I've slept with a couple of girls over a week period, when I've been driving a fast car, when I have been usually alcohol, drugs, if I've smoked some weed or done some drugs on the weekend, what that's done is that's overstimulated my mind, right? So I've just taken in like so much dopamine, like fueling the body with dopamine. And I have those kind of mega sessions, right? I am that kind of person who likes to indulge. I'm honest with my followers. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am an angel and all I do is work. No. I work hard and I play hard, and I can play extremely hard, especially when you live somewhere like Miami Beach, where people basically come to have fun. So there are weeks where I've been overstimulated for sure. Overstimulated by drinking alcohol, doing drugs, sleeping with random women that I really don't give a shit about. It's just purely to get laid, to be honest. Primal desires to get laid. So there's that. And then there's eating anything I want, right? So during those kind of weeks, I remember Miami Music Week last year, I literally ate whatever I wanted that week, whether it was pizza, burger, some fucking crappy chicken. What was it? What was that place called in Miami? Some fried chicken spot? Can't even remember what it's called. I haven't been in Miami for 2-3 months. But yeah, so I'll eat whatever I want. I'll do a bunch of drugs. I'll sleep with some random girls. I'll like dance away for hours. I'll like meet new people, and all these things are very stimulating, right? Massively stimulating. Like drugs, they stimulate you. You go up really high and then you come down really fast. That's the issue. And I also always speak to my boys about this, and I always say stuff like, you know, when you've had sex with this random girl, right? A one night stand. Like the build up to it is so fun. You know, you build up to it, yeah, and then you have sex and then you ejaculate. And then what some of my friends call it, the post-nut clarity. It's such a funny term. That moment you ejaculate, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm done. I need to sleep, or I want to eat, or get away from me, or who's this random girl, or oh, she's ugly, or, you'll have like this, another friend of mine calls it buyer's remorse, where you buy something and you regret buying it. Like, oh shit, I shouldn't have bought this. I made a mistake. Oh, look at this. Look at our beautiful cat Daisy sleeping over here. Hello, sweetheart. Say hello to everyone. Are you still asleep? You lazy little monkey. She's gorgeous, isn't she? Anyway, so you become very overstimulated by this stuff, right? And it happens to me. It happens to me a lot. And an overstimulated life is a very dangerous life, especially if lived over a long period of time, or if you're consistent with it, right? So, our week is cut up into weekdays and weekends for a reason. So we work our asses off on Monday to Friday, then Friday night comes, and I remember when I worked in the city of London, we'd go out for pints and we'd start smashing drinks, and from Friday night all the way through to like Sunday morning, you're getting battered, as we'd like to say in London. You're literally getting battered. You're smashed on Friday night. On Saturday, God knows what you do. You wake up late and you piss around that night. And then Saturday night, you're out again, chasing girls, getting drunk with the boys, having a laugh. And then you wake up on Sunday, you're hungover, and you've just about got enough time to like take a walk, grab an ice cream on a summer's day, maybe take a girl out on a date, but you're not in the mood for that. You might see your boys, you might smoke a couple of joints. So this is stuff that I've done. I've done all this shit growing up. I'm not going to hide it. Sure, man, I enjoyed my life. Fuck it. So, and that was, to me at the time, enjoyment. So I did that. And then on the Monday, you're back into work. And how difficult is it to get back into work after an overstimulated weekend? You know that feeling of like, shit, I'm back in work. Oh, like I've got to get on with all this stuff. And it's really hard to get on with all this stuff when you've been so overstimulated all weekend, because you've just got mad amounts of dopamine flowing through you and your serotonin is super high. And then all of a sudden you got to sit at a desk for 10 hours and crack out some spreadsheets or crack out some critical thinking. So it's really tough, really tough to balance that out. And I'm not one to say that I've completely mastered that, but I'm now getting quite good at the transition between working and then getting a bit loose on the weekends, back to work and then getting loose. Now, I know some people that are masters at it, but there's very, very few people who know how to master that. Most people are average in society, in fact, below average, in terms of sort of pay and body and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, very few people know how to master the art of transitioning between productivity and pleasure. I done a video very recently about that, productivity versus pleasure. And ultimately, the weekend is all about pleasure, right? You're just pleasuring yourself. You're pleasuring yourself with girls, with drugs, with food, whatever it is that pleasures you, right? Whatever it is that pleasures you. All the things that I've mentioned are just things that I like doing because to a degree, that side of me is a bit of a degenerate, to be honest. I love going to a club, having the sickest table in the club, partying next to the DJ, kissing some beautiful girl, having a laugh with my boys. Can't tell you what else happens and the other details. You can kind of figure it out. After party, back at the house, now that I kind of know how to DJ, I'm there spinning tracks and there's girls. And it's just madness. But I enjoy it because I enjoy music, I enjoy social connections, I enjoy going out, I enjoy beautiful women. So these are the things I enjoy doing. And I'm still not at the stage where I'm bored of doing that. So that kind of stimulation is too much of that stimulation is dangerous, is super dangerous. Because you will not be able to then focus on the important things in your life, which are your health, your business, your career, your finances, your family, right? I mean, it might improve your social life and your relationships if you're going out on the weekend and you're stimulated, but it will certainly not improve your business unless you're in the nightlife business or you're making money from that. You own a bar, which most of you don't. Most of you do not make money from going out. Let's face it. I don't make any money from going out. It's purely entertainment purposes. So that overstimulated life, when you push it too far, it becomes very hard to come back into what we now call in today's day and age, and all these kids are doing it, is the dopamine detox or monk mode, as modern society likes to call it. Monk mode, literally, where you monk out and you don't go out and you ghost and you work and you focus and you just work on your goals and you work on your health and eating well. And you're just super focused on a particular goal. It might be a business, it might be a side hustle that you want to get up and running, it might be a song, it might be whatever it is you're doing. You're trying to find that state of flow, right? You're trying to find that flow state whereby, and if you're too fueled with dopamine and serotonin, you will not be able to find that flow state. You will just not be able to find it because you'll just be looking for the next hit. What's the next thing? Oh, I might watch some porn. I might whack one out. You're going to be constantly looking for the next thing. Oh, let me have a coffee now. And another stimulant. Oh, let me take a walk. Let me just do something. Let me keep my mind occupied because the boring tasks just become too difficult to actually do. And I'm definitely a victim to this stuff. I personally also have struggled with that a lot in life. However, I've been able to also build a fucking stellar life for myself in the sense that I travel around the world. I can do whatever the fuck I want. We're out here driving Ferraris and Aston Martins in Bucharest, going out, talking to beautiful women, completely time free to whatever I want to do. And I can structure my day how I want it. And I can structure the business how I want it. So that's lovely. I've been able to build that life, even despite engaging in a lot of pleasurable activities and sort of dopamine fueled weekends and dopamine fueled holidays. And they're I've been through a week or 2 week periods where I've been quite lazy and haven't been focused enough. But what Naval Ravikant says, and he's one of my idols, is that the way you should operate is like a lion, where you sprint and then rest, sprint and then rest, okay? And that's what weekdays and weekends are for, I guess. Which is why I don't massively believe in monk mode, right? I'm not really a big advocate for monk mode because when I'm in monk mode, I don't feel like I'm actually living. I just feel like I'm working. That's all I'm doing. I'm just working and I'm doing nothing else. I'm not even existing properly. I'm not even aware of my existence because all I'm doing is sitting behind a screen all day because that's ultimately what our modern day work is. You want to make money online, you're sitting behind a screen all fucking day. Hours of sitting behind a screen, which means you're not getting laid, you're not meeting your boys, you're not having fun, you're not working out, you're not doing all the other things which I call living, walking in nature, taking a walk, speaking to your mother. All of those beautiful things are how to live a wonderful life. So when you're working, I always say you're either living or you're working. It's very hard to do both at the same time. Okay, so the overstimulated life, my friends, is definitely a dangerous life. The overstimulated life is definitely a dangerous life. And I can certainly fall into that trap, especially if you are unaware or you're not sure exactly what you should be working on. If you know what you're working on, you're making a bit of money, then it's fine. You can go out there and stimulate yourself. But if you are struggling, okay, if you do not like where you are in life right now, if you're not making enough money, if you're not in good shape, if you're not getting girls, if you're just not happy, you don't have good friends around you, then you cannot stimulate yourself with fake bullshit serotonin, dopamine hits, because that is not going to help you make a decision. That is not going to help you work. That is not going to help you get laid. That is not going to help you get a better body. All of the things I've mentioned there require effort, time and effort and high performance. So if, my friends, you are in a position in life where you are not happy, where you don't have the things that you want, where you're anxious, you're paranoid, you're scared, you're directionless, you're a bit confused. And many people in today's world are suffering with this shit, man. We've got a huge mental health crisis in today's world. It's shocking, which is why I've kind of built my brand and built my personal brand and building this, because the idea is to help people get out of these difficult situations by giving them practical advice. We've all been through this shit, you know. I had a horrible week last week. I was fucking fuming. I had 2 or 3 terrible days, but now I've picked it back up again. And I'm back on the straight and narrow because I know how to transition from difficult times to good times. The best men and the strongest men know how to do that. You utilize pain to your advantage. So back to what I was saying, if you are not in a position in life where you feel like you have the things you want, you're not completely satisfied, you cannot go and overstimulate yourself on the weekends. Because all that's going to do is make you feel even worse. You need to take some time to make these decisions. You need to take some time to go to the gym. You need to take some time to make yourself healthy food, to go through these kind of self-care practices, whether it be meditation, whether it be journaling, whether it be really questioning where you are in life right now. Are you happy with where you are? Write some of these things down. What would you like to do? You know, what are the things you'd like to achieve? What are the things you're doing wrong? Literally, you could write down, like, what are the things that are blocking me from achieving the success that I deserve? So if you don't have those things, you cannot stimulate yourself. The life of overstimulation will destroy you and you will not be able to find a way out. You will not be able to then build the life that you want because you're just constantly stimulated by dopamine, and it's alcohol, and it's drugs, and then it's a TV show, and then it's another Netflix show, and then it's another pizza. All this shit is just consumption. You're destroying your brain. This is what modern society is doing. Literally destroying us, destroying our brains by just throwing all this shit at us. And you're watching the next game, and then they're watching the basketball, and then another burger, and then, another drink. And it's always another, and there's always more of it. And it's just like, oh shit, I've achieved nothing. And that's the position that we don't want you to be in, right? Where you're like, oh shit, I've literally achieved nothing because I've been overstimulated the whole time, right? Now, the interesting thing as well, on a final note, just to finish off this video, even the lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? Who I've studied and I like learning about, and some of them like, you know, some of my idols like George Michael, who grew up in the same area as me in North London, in Highgate. You know, we're both North London boys, and he obviously rose to insane levels of stardom, which I'm slightly jealous of, to be honest. I mean, his level of stardom was absolutely insane. He was loved by everyone. He was one of the best musicians of all time. His life was a life of overstimulation, my friends. Overstimulation. He would smoke 10 to 15 joints a day. He would sniff a shitload of cocaine all the time. He died young because he destroyed his body, because he lived a life of overstimulation, right? When you've sung in a concert to 10,000 people and everyone loves you and wants to suck you off, then you live in that mindset of like dopamine-fueled stimulation all the time. Drugs, girls, well, in his case, it was guys. But like, you constantly need that stimulation, and so to look for that, he was always searching for the next high, which is why he smoked all that weed, which is why he sniffed all that cocaine. Every time police stopped him, they were like, George, Again, finding stupid amounts of drugs on him and him being over the limit in terms of alcohol, losing his license till he eventually died because he destroyed his body. And then let's not talk about Whitney Houston, another absolute star in the, unbelievable best voice of all time, best female singer of all time, in my opinion, destroyed her body and eventually, fell to pieces because these people live a life of overstimulation, man. Too much dopamine, drugs, girls. For example, let's just say I smack it on a crypto token in the next 6 months to a year and bang, I make 20 million in one shot. And I'm like, cool, I'm now going to live off the interest of this. I'm now going to invest this money, make 5 to 10% a year. That's $1 to $2 million a year coming in. I'm not going to work and I'm just going to go hard and do everything I want to do. Oh, I'll be dead very quickly. Very quickly. Because if I have no discipline and my life becomes overstimulation, chasing girls, doing drugs, driving fast cars, I'm likely to fuck up. I'm likely to drink drive. I'm likely to do too many drugs. I'm likely to overdose. I'm likely to make a girl pregnant. I'm likely to get in trouble with a girl and, some weird shit happens. Girls can be a real pain in the ass. And if it's not like a good, trustworthy woman, you're just going out all the time, partying, getting tables. This life of overstimulation will destroy you, would destroy me. If I was making a couple of million a year without even moving a finger and I decided I would never work again and just have fun, my life would be a fucking disaster. I would absolutely, first of all, I'd go nuts doing all this mad shit. But that's just in theory. In practice, that wouldn't happen to me because I came from nothing. So I know not to do that. I know to keep control of my life. And I'm genuinely quite a balanced individual. I believe in balance. I believe in having all the beautiful things that life can offer you rather than being really, really good at one thing, just having your health or just having money. No. I actually pride myself on having all of these things. So the life of overstimulation is dangerous, even if you're rich and famous, even if you have everything. An overdose of dopamine constantly will destroy your life. Whether you're rich, poor, productive, not productive. The point of this video is to ensure that you realize the overstimulated life that you see on Instagram, these luxury cars, these bitches, these whatever you see, these models, I don't know what you see, all sorts of shit that's just being plowed into your face. You want this, you want this, you want this. This is the life that you want, the luxury life with all the, with all the cool shit, the cars, the clubs, the parties. That's just all overstimulation, man. That's just society telling you, oh, this is what make you happy. Make a shit ton of money and then go stimulate yourself constantly. I know people that have 9-to-5 jobs and average salaries that have nice girlfriends that live in a nice apartment somewhere in a big city and they're happy. They're not overstimulated. They read a book in the evenings. They're calm. They're healthy. And there's just so many different ways to skin a cat, to live this life. It doesn't have to be constantly fueling yourself with dopamine hits, and so a man that's able to control his dopamine, a man that's able to control his levels of stimulation, that can go from being overstimulated and then can go from monk mode to dopamine detox type mode. If you can swing between the two, that is the holy grail. That is when you can do the sprint, rest, sprint, rest, sprint, rest. Okay, that's when you're really balancing your life. You're going to the gym, but at the same time, you're getting a little bit loose on the weekend, having a little bit of fun. It's cool. You're still balancing it nicely. You have time for, you're allowed to smoke a cigar. You're allowed to have a drink because you've been so healthy, because you've worked so hard. So if you can find the balance between the two, if you can find that real sweet spot, which is where I'm at in my life personally, then that's great. However, if you are not happy in life and you want more money and you want a better body, you need to cut the stimulants out until you are in a better position. That's the only way I can put it. If you've just sold your company and you just come across a shitload of money and you've got all the time in the world, sure, you can go stimulate yourself for a little bit, but I assure you, you'll get very bored very quickly because the stimulation is a disease. It's a drug. It's the devil's game. It's the temptations. There is a saying in the Lord's Prayer, actually. I'm not the most religious guy in the world, by the way. I'm becoming a little bit more religious, but there's a saying in the Lord's Prayer which says, deliver us from evil, but not into temptation. There's something like, what is it? Deliver us from evil, but not into temptation. Something about do not like drive us away from the temptations and the evil, because the devil is constantly feeding us with these, like, he's trying to allure you. Oh, come here, look at this drug, look at this girl. Oh, come here. That's all the devil's work. You know, the devil's just trying to lead you into that life of getting fucked up and like having orgies and having this mad life, which doesn't make you happy, by the way. Because the people who are truly happy are the ones that are either like, you know, I know some religious people who are super like peaceful and faithful and live nice lives and don't live this overstimulated life. And they're the happiest people I know because they're the most stable people I know. Overstimulation will lead to instability. Dopamine detoxes and being aware of your stimulations and being aware of all these different stimulants and staying away from it is what will bring you the stability that you're looking for in life, the mental and physical stability, which is what I'm looking for, which is what you should be looking for. I know I've sort of blasted on a little bit long here, and I like to keep these videos a bit short. This one's 20 minutes plus, but these are some very key points, okay? So be very, very careful with how you operate with dopamine, okay? Dopamine is a drug, and we're constantly looking for it. And so if you're constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down, it's a very unstable way to be. You need to have nice waves, you know, because you're going to be wave. You're not going to be happy all the time, and you're not going to be like super stable all the time. You're going to have these stages, and you want it to be a nice flow of waves. You don't want it to be up, down, up, down, up, down. That's super volatile. That's dangerous for your health. That will destroy you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything you need help with and anything that you would like to make videos on that you're personally struggling with, leave it in the comments and I'll make a video all about it. Peace, guys. Have a lovely day.